Season 25 has massively shifted the meta and allowed many players for the first time to reach 115 Greater Rift, and the easiest way to conquer these top tier rifts is to create a support class, in our case Demon Hunter. Hello, Firzj here. In this build guide video I'll show you how to properly equip your Demon Hunter for the support role, how to play it in a group, and how to distribute your soul shards and legendary gems. Let's start with the skills and passives. We have 5 essential skills on our panel that are required to play 0 Demon Hunter and 1 optional skill slot which can be changed to a specific one depending on which type of Greater Rifts you plan to run, higher Greater Rifts or speeds. We will talk about this later. So our first skill here is our companion with the Wolf rune. Every time you press that skill it buffs all allies within 60 yards for 15% increased damage for 10 seconds. The cooldown for that skill can be lowered and removed with the help of Zodiac Ring. This skill should be up at all times to let monks deal increased damage during their fire rotation and crusaders to bombard the area for Oculus. But if you are an advanced player you can press companion only right before the initial damage phase. The second skill for our group is Sentry with the last rune Guardian Turret. This ability casts a turret with the surrounding shield which reduces all damage taken inside of it by 25%. The damage reduction doesn't stack if you cast turrets upon each other. You can place up to 5 turrets around the battlefield thanks to the custom engineering passive and Bombardier Squealer. The next skill is Multi-Shot with the rune Windshield. Enemies that are under your multi-shot will deal less damage for 5 seconds to your allies because of this passive ability called Numbing Traps, and will also have more chance to be critically hit for 3 seconds. This critical hit bonus is applied from the multi-shot rune and Ice Blink legendary gem which adds 10% extra crit chance to shield targets. For our gen and mobility / support skill we will use Entangling Shot with the Chain Gang rune. Similar to multi-shot, the enemies will move slower, attack less and receive more damage from all sources with Odysseys and Ball Pudding Cube. Apart from that, each Entangling Shot gives us extra toughness because of Wraps of Clarity bracers and momentum stacks from the Gear of Dreadlands set to move faster while using Strafe. For the ring slot we have Royal Ring which simply reduces set requirements, more later in this video. Speaking of Strafe, this ability with the Drifting Shadow rune is our main ability to move fast depending on how many momentum stacks you have. Refresh Wraps of Clarity buff for toughness, auto snare your enemies and receive less damage while strafing because of Mantle of Channeling. To strafe even faster you can also place Hot Pursuit passive which has 20% run speed for 4 seconds when you hit an enemy. The last passive ability which should be mentioned is Awareness. Every time you receive fatal damage you vanish for 2 seconds and avoid death. But for some reason this passive may not trigger properly and you can still die instantly. So try to avoid dangerous situations and always buff your toughness. And for the final optional skill slot we can either use Marked for Death for high tier Greater Rifts with Valley of Death rune or Smoke Screen Displacement for extra movement speed in speeds. Marked for Death ability marks an area on the ground so the enemies inside it receive 50% more damage. As for the smoke screen, this ability can drastically up your movement speed, especially with the proper passive called Tactical Advantage. Now it's time for some gear, legendary gems and soul shards. This build doesn't require much time to make your support class as most of the items drop pretty often by just playing the game. Here we have 3 Gear of Dreadlands pieces for momentum stacks, damage reduction while strafing and movement speed bonus for each second of momentum, 2 Crimson pieces for 20% cooldown and resource cost reduction, Achilles chest to double our toughness, same applies to Mantle of Channeling for 25% more damage reduction, Zodiac Ring to reduce all skills on cooldowns while strafing or using multi-shot, Oculus Ring to assist your allies and share up to 85% more damage, Nemesis Bracers to take Pylons when needed for extra elite pack, Flavor of Time to double the Pylon buffs duration, Bombardier Squealer for the maximum amount of sentries, and of course Young Bow. With this bow, multi-shot attacks 50% faster and costs less because of its 50% resource cost reduction roll. In case this bow doesn't drop for you, you can craft yellow balls and roll them in cube until you find this one. As for the item stats in general, you will need to maximize your cooldown reduction whenever possible. In rings, amulet, gloves, shoulders, bow and Quiver. Roll all res, put some diamonds and get a small portion of attack speed bonus to refresh momentum stacks faster, and apply multi-shot to all unaffected enemies around. But avoid any gear pieces rolled with area damage or you may cause severe lags and kill all your group in no time. Now for the legendary gems. There are two priority number 1 gems that should be leveled at least to level 25 to debuff the enemies and shield them so they receive more damage from your allies. The last gem, Gogok, is the best choice for this build to increase your attack speed, cooldown reduction and give some dodge chance. But in case you are low Paragon and you die a lot from elemental effects, consider switching it to esoteric gem. For the soul shards, the best pick would be Fragment of Destruction and Stain of Sin. This soul shard marks all the enemies you pass through and removes 1 second of cooldown when your allies kill a marked enemy. To make it more useful, you can possibly roll it with the Slayer perk, similar to Executioner weapon that slays all enemies below 10% HP. This has a huge benefit while pushing 2-player Grey Rifts to kill low HP elites and bosses. Stain of the Sin is another super useful soul shards for support roles. When your allies kill 50 enemies, you spawn a pool of blood that increases the damage done to elite enemies by 150%. And another game changer for this shard is that once your group kills the elite, including its minions, you drop 1 extra progress orb. This perk can stack with other support, specifically Barb, so theoretically you can receive 4 extra globes from killing 1 elite if all party members use this soul shard with this exact perk. Now for the Paragon Points. Spend all your points to movement speed and vitality. Spending points into dexterity has no use for support class as it only grants armor and pathetic damage boost. But most importantly, do not spend any point to area damage. Just respec your points and avoid this utility stat completely, or again you will lag the game and break momentum stacks. Time for some gameplay mechanics. This is my personal approach to this build and the playstyle may differ from yours. In high tier Grey Rifts similar to Z-Barb, your main goal here is to assist your group debuff enemies, apply damage increase buffs and pull enemies to a spot. Every time your group decides to stay, usually Barb or Monk decides where to stay, you have to spread out 5 sentries, apply multi-shot to the group of enemies every 3 seconds because of its rune placed marked for death where elite packs stand, and after that you can simply strafe around to snare all enemies for extra damage. Just don't forget to refresh momentum stacks with your primary skill. And once a monk is about to deal damage, you want to make sure that Wolf Companion, Multi-Shot and Marked for Death are in place. Low HP enemies can be killed if they are below 10% HP with your Soul Shard, and to do so just strafe through them. When Barb is usually pulling trash and giving ignore point to the group, you also need to take wormholes to save monks from teleporting and break walls with the potion of Cool Aid before the attack. After the damage phase, you either move forward or keep standing with the group. During that you can assist Barb if he says so to scout the area, but not too far for elites, Pylons or aggro some trash back to the spot. Aggroing too much trash may cause lags, so don't overdo it. If that happens, try to use fewer abilities and find a safe spot to avoid death. In some rare cases momentum stacks may not work and you will lose speed buff to keep up with your group, and to fix that simply change the floor or port back to town to reset this buff. As for the Pylons, speed can cause lags when there is too much trash, so don't take it unless the group asks you to. Channeling and shield Pylons are usually taken instantly when they are spawned, and power Pylon must be taken just right before the monks attack. If done correctly, monk will be able to attack 2 times under power buff. For the conduit Pylon, the more elites and less trash you have, the better, especially if boss supports have Stain of Sin for 1 extra progress globe. Usually the Barb will ask you to take power and conduit Pylons, as it is their job to know the map and guide the group. The playstyle in monk speeds or in any other scenario is almost identical. Demon Hunters usually follow the group and apply all possible buffs non-stop. You will need to react fast to take Pylons, place sentries, debuff enemies and keep up with your allies by using strafe, momentum stacks and smoke screen. Even if it's your first time playing Demon Hunter, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Join GR communities, practice in public greater rifts, find better gear and gain more paragons, and you will easily conquer your 150 greater rift. I hope this build guide was helpful and informative. If you still have some questions, ask me here in the comments below. Thank you for watching and listening, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more content. Have a nice day and stay safe.